Good morning and happy birthday to you, the viewer, because every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate life every day. And welcome. No, I did that the wrong way around, didn't I? Ah, well. Good morning. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Happy birthday. It's the other way around, isn't it? Oh, God, I'll get this right eventually, won't I? Happy birthday. Good morning. Happy birthday. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life, because every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate life. There we go. We got it right that time. How you doing? I was going to spend a good time today talking about my Freedom Cube. And I'm pausing a little bit here because I want the Instagram still to be able to be picked up from here. But here, also, I've taken the new logo on my cube and I've stuck it to the bottom of this cube. So now you can see that this one is very much orange and the centerpiece can't be upside down. So yes, this is version 2 of the cube, which I will be ordering when I can afford it. I may or may not talk about the cube a little bit later on, depending on how this thing go here. But on the way here, I was listening to the Blinkist book of the day, which is called Helgoland. I think I've said that right. Helgoland? Helgoland, yes. I didn't know what it was about at all. But it is actually about at least 3 scientists, 2 of which are Danish, Niels Bohr and Heisenberg, can't remember his first name. And then there's also mentions, of course, Schrodinger, who was Austrian. But as I heard, these two guys were Danish, and they talked about Copenhagen and hanging around Copenhagen. And I thought, that's interesting, because last night the English football team beat the Danish football team in the semi-finals of the Euro Cup. And it was very exciting for those of us in England. Anybody who's watching from America, for example, or anywhere outside of Europe, I probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But football, you know, the thing that we call where we actually kick the football, soccer, as the Americans would call it. Yeah, it's a big thing anyway. So yeah, I'm not massively into football, but it was quite interesting to see that last night. Although there's obviously a lot of controversy about the penalty, although there was definitely contact. But that's another story for another day. But anyway, and I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice to be positive about Denmark for a little bit? I love Denmark. I spent a fair bit of time in, oh gosh, and I should remember the name for it now as well. Just over to the west anyway, just over the west of Copenhagen. I can't remember the name of it. It maybe come back to me a little bit later on. I was going to say Aarhus, but that's not it either. They have a famous football team there. Maybe it was that. Aarhus, maybe it is Aarhus, I'm not sure. Anyway, and I also have a very good friend who I met on Instagram called Julie. So hello Julie, happy birthday to you, because you know every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate life. Who's a very lovely lady, and I can't wait to go and visit her and spend some time with her at some point in the future. Yes, and then these two guys, and it's really fascinating because this is all about the uncertainty principle of. So this is about quantum mechanics. Sorry, I should say quantum mechanics, and it's a fascinating subject. And as I was listening to it, as I was running along, I was thinking to myself, that's very interesting, because this is very similar to what I talk about in psychology. About memories and how we remember things and how we can change those memories, and how there's no such thing as now. Everything that we experience is actually really a memory of what's just happened. So as I'm speaking now, the moment I say now, well, for a start, obviously there's a delay here because I'm saying now and it's being sent into the phone, it's going across the internet and it's coming over onto your device, and so there's already a delay there anyway. But if you were standing right next to me and I said now, the moment I've said now, it's already past that moment, and so as soon as you start thinking about, oh, he just said now, that's a memory. That's now a recorded memory in your brain, short-term memory. It's not really, it hasn't. It's like the moment I say it, it's already in the past. So really, we don't actually ever experience the moment, because it's always like you're either just predicting something that's about to happen. So when somebody throws you a ball, for example, you're predicting where that ball's going to be and you're going to catch it in a minute. And then you catch it, and as soon as you catch it, you then got a memory of having caught the ball. So it's a bit weird, because it's obviously the timing is like really, really close, and it's ridiculous, like milliseconds. Because if you think about it, you got, okay, so this happened here, and like now it's like a millisecond before, and it's like a thousandth of a millisecond before. It's a thousandth of a thousandth of this. You split the time down, and the moment you recognise that, oh, actually, hang on a minute, now doesn't really exist, because by the time you've seen now, or you recognise that now exists, or that you've recognised that moment, time has already moved on. And so actually you're really only recording a history of what's just happened, literally just happened. And there's a really cool phenomenon about this. You can do it on the internet. I'm not sure if I can find it, but where there's a ball going around a circle, and you have to predict where the ball's going to go, or which way it's going to go, which way it's going to bounce, or something like that. And what happens is your brain actually predicts where it's going to be before it even gets there, even though it never actually gets there or something. I can't remember what the actual deal is, but basically it looks like, you know, we actually see both in the future and in the past at the same. I can't remember the thing. Anyway, it's very cool. I'll look it up. If somebody reminds me, if somebody's watching this and says, what was that ball bouncing on the internet thing, John? Make a comment below, and I'll if I forget to put it in. But it's really fascinating about how our brain works and how brains store memories and think about things and so forth. So that's kind of part of what I teach. Good morning, viewer, by the way. Thank you for coming in and viewing us. But what they were talking about in quantum mechanics, of course, is the fact that, and this is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which is that at the moment you observe something, it affects the thing that you've observed. And so this comes with particles and waves and so forth. There's a wave particle duality thing, and there's another fascinating part of physics that you can see here, where you fire particles or light particles, because light is both a particle and a wave, and at these two slits, it's a double slit experiment. You can look at that double slit or wave particle duality thing, and as you fire it through, you would expect it to have a wave pattern on the other side, but actually you get a particle pattern on the other side. But it also depends on how you're observing it. And then this really cool thing where you can say, well, let's make a particle go one way or the other, and then see which one it actually does. And then there's this concept where you can actually erase the past by changing the future. If you see what I mean, it's very cool. It's very weird, but and it takes a lot of thinking to try and figure all this stuff out. And I don't claim to know all about it, but I do kind of understand the principle that's going on here. And the key thing about this, though, of course, I should also mention Schrodinger's cat, which of course is part of this as well, which is you have a box and you have a cat in there. It's interesting, on the book they talk about the cat going to sleep, but I think now in reality it was the cat's dead. But it's you have a half-life of a radioactive isotope inside the box, which basically, but you have no idea as to whether or not the poison in the box has actually been triggered, or the sleeping pill in the has actually been triggered. And so you don't know, before you open the box, whether or not the cat is alive or dead, or awake or asleep, until you open the box. And as soon as you open the box, you then observe which one it is. But technically, this cat is both alive and dead at the same time. Now, there's a claim here, of course, that there's not a claim, but there's a theory, a potential theory, that part of this is parallel universes concept. Why am I talking about this? This has nothing to do with science and my memories, is it really? But the idea is that parallel universes exist, and then it collapses down based on observation. So as soon as there's a cat in both, and there's an observer in both universes, and a cat in both universes. And depending on when this observer opens the box, the cats either swap or don't swap, depending on which observer is viewing which box. I know, it seems nuts, it sounds nuts, absolutely nuts, crazy. But as I was thinking about this, and it's the same thing with there's a whole concept of making a photon. There's like a quantum entanglement thing as well. You can look that up as well, where you can get these two photons that are entangled, and they basically have the same properties. But it's not until you observe them that they collapse in, and so you can take one thing and take it to China, and one thing in America, two photons, and when you observe one, it shows as being red, and so therefore you would expect the other one in China to be 50-50 red or blue. Yeah, just accept my word for this for a moment. But if this one was red, this one is also always red, even though they're separated by hundreds of thousands, or thousands of miles at least anyway. And so it's a weird thing. It's like, how does that happen? How does that work? And my thinking was, all this stuff. I forgot to say happy birthday to everybody, haven't I? Crikey, sorry about that. My thinking about this was that maybe it's not about whether it exists or doesn't exist, or whether there's two universes and all this kind of stuff. It's just because it's always a memory. We've observed it, and as soon as we've observed it, that's what we're remembering. And this is what I was saying about how our brains work and how our memories work. We only remember what we remember in the way that we've remembered it. which is why I was saying the other day, there's always three parts to every story. There's, and this is going to be interesting for this one as well, there's your version of the story, there's the other person's version of the story, and then there's what actually really happened. Because of course you've got a perspective, they've got a perspective, and then there's the actual situation. So you can have two people standing on two sides of the wall, for example, and two sides of the wall, and they can only see the scene from their own specific perspective. And there'll be things that happen in that scene that only this person can see, and there'll be things in this scene that only this person can see. But there'll also be things that happen in this scene that neither person can see. That's good. I like that one. That's a new analogy. I haven't thought of that one before. I like that. Where nobody can see it, and you go, "Ta-da, magic!" There's a thing here. In fact, that happens with magic, doesn't it? You get a whole audience, and they all see the magic trick, and the magician knows what's going on, but nobody in the room knows what's going on. Suddenly, you've got magic going on there. Fantastic. Anyway, so the point being of all of this stuff is I wanted to celebrate a little bit about Denmark and the people that I know from Denmark, the places that I've stayed in. Can't remember where it is. Anyway, there's a famous football team over to the west of Copenhagen. Can't remember the name. Somebody will remember it and put it in the comments below, and maybe I'll remember to look on the map and check it out. But before I do that, I should probably say happy birthday. This is going to be really annoying, because particularly the first person on the list, because it's Chris Taylor, who taught me how to do reels on Instagram, and I do a reel on my Instagram before I post a copy of this video that I record on live on Facebook into Instagram. And so then I do a reel on there and says, hey, go and check out my Instagram post, IGTV. Anyway, and Chris has been helping me trying to figure out how to use reels to the best of experience. So happy birthday, Chris. Happy birthday to you. Hope you're well. Happy birthday to Kate Chapman, Glenn McLeod, who I used to play basketball with and was in the police here in Gloucestershire, who I also met on the Camino de Santiago when I walked that. Linda Rumbold, Kate Stent, hope motherhood is treating you well, Kate. And then from yesterday, which I missed yesterday, happy birthday to Carl Houston, Nat Kingston, Richard, I'm not even going to try and pronounce your surname. Oh, I'm so tempted. Michelle Brooks, Alex Platt, Claire Petit, Peter Bayliss, Kathy Duffield, Utility Warehouse, Debbie Richards, Barry Morgan, Richard Larounier, who helped me with my overcoming my phobia of talking to women a long time ago. Simon Tucker Brown, who I went to school with, and of course Hanna, who I also went to school with, and who worked on Virgin Galactic for a little while, and who was technically, I think, probably my first real girlfriend, kind of, but we never really went out. Just one of those kind of weird things where your friend asks your friend out, and then you say yes, and then you kind of break up through friends as well. It was kind of weird anyway. But happy birthday to you, Hannah. Hope you're all well. Happy birthday to all of those people. Hope you had a lovely day yesterday, and those of you whose birthday it is today, have a lovely day today. So anyway, hopefully that was kind of a weird, rambly, not what we normally talk about, mindset thing. Not really normal mindset. I had a bad day yesterday. I was going to talk about that, and that's why I was going to talk about the cube, the Freedom Cube. But maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah, because I've run out of time for today. But it was basically, I was struggling with marketing, and I've come to a massive realization about how I'm going to do my marketing going forward. Remember, I've been talking about my one landing page, the one thing I want to do? Didn't do the breathing exercise, did we? Do that in a second. One thing I want to do with my landing pages, I had a complete freak out and meltdown about doing landing pages yesterday, and I realized maybe I shouldn't be doing landing pages. Maybe that marketing part of it, I need to find a different way of doing that marketing, because there's clearly some really strong resistance going on inside me, and I wanted to talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow, hopefully, depending on circumstances. We'll see. Okay, anyway, just a little breathing exercise to finish off with. What's the one thing you want to get done today? Breathe in 5 through your nose. Hand on your heart. Hold for 5. Candles on your cake. Happy birthday to all those people. Happy birthday. Hope you have a lovely day today, everybody. Sending you love. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow if something horrible doesn't happen tomorrow morning again. These things happen. Life goes on. It's all fine. Take care, guys. Bye for now.